Exactly.
You finally take the last one of these glyph people out. It happens to be Steven. And things are quiet for a while. You're able to revive your angelic companion.
Right, we're
yeah.
But
like
you
just
give her some of the
sits.
LSD juice.
No, we're just like fishing her out of the water like in a net, right? Like probably just like turning a crank and you come up and there's wet feathers hanging over and swing you over there. Yeah.
Like sit straight up.
All right. So you manage to defeat these people that have glyphs on their heads. You
I
manage to
do.
keep the hostages from being branded any further. Right?
Mhm.
You slowly come around, return back to consciousness, and it's unpleasant, but you're back with us, right? So success so far, but you're left with a lot of questions, like what are those brands, and why were they taking hostages and trying to brand more people, etc. So at this point, I start to turn it over to you guys. How would you proceed from here? What would you do?
Well, we know where Stephen was right now, but we don't know where he got. And I pointed him like squirming on the ground.
Yeah.
We
Is
don't
he
know where he
alright?
got that, or what it is that they were trying to do with
Perhaps-
these poor. And the civilians have either run off or
Yeah, I mean, some of them
are
were-
huddled and
yeah.
freezing.
Yeah, they were basically some of them were sent running up the hill when you managed to
I
put
think
fish
we
out
can.
of the water.
I think we
right?
can make. I think we can make Steven talk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over to him because he's probably thinks he's dying, and I'm gonna start giving him the last rites, as
Oh,
a way
no.
to threaten him.
Okay.
Right? It'd be like in the name of the Father, the Son, and make him think he's dying.
Without saying anything, Amy just goes up behind you and does the angelic being
Yeah.
presence of just
Like
yeah,
you're here to take him
Yeah, I'm here to take him, show him the light,
yeah,
starts
right,
glowing
exactly.
slightly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go give him last rites, and yeah, you back me up. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Cool.
It's like
Yeah. Okay.
glowing,
So you're basically
ominous
trying to what? Intimidate him?
I want to intimidate him,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
into confessing his sins, like when he joined
Yeah,
this cult and how
yeah.
that happened,
Great,
and I
great.
want to get him to confess.
Go ahead and give me a roll for that.
Okay, convince someone, I think, maybe?
Sure.
Can I help in any way?
Yeah.
Through being
Throw an advantage
intimidating?
die in there
Okay, cool, yeah, because you're being all scared.
because you're helping. Yeah.
Okay, an
The light is
actual
coming for
literal
you.
angel, yeah.
Step
Okay.
into the light.
Cool. All right, here we go. So I got 90% on this one. I got 100, of course.
You
Wow.
did, in fact,
I
roll
rolled
exactly 100.
Exactly 100,
All right.
which in any other circumstance would be a great
Wow.
roll, but not today.
So here's the thing. He is in fact terrified,
Good.
but he has no idea what you're talking about.
Ah.
And as you examine a little bit closer, you see that in the scuffle where you sort of picked him up and
Yeah.
everything, you've kind of broken the skin across the
Right.
symbol on his forehead, and he's very out of it. He very much how she described the guy that came up to her at the grocery store previously. He seemed concussed.
Mhm.
Seeing this has failed, Amy turns to one of the hostages that are maybe still cowering and
Yeah,
goes,
the ones that were
Yeah.
taken that didn't have symbols branded
yeah,
on
they
them?
don't have symbols.
Okay.
You human, where did they find you?
So she's like, I was just
Still
jogging.
glowing.
I was jogging through the park.
Here, they found you in this park.
Yeah.
You human, where did they just goes down the line and asks all the humans.
It's like a
if they
businessman,
got-
and he's like, well, I was getting a hot dog from the hot dog cart.
They were all found in this park.
Yeah.
This cult is close. Repeating
Sure.
obvious information.
Okay, Detective Angel.
Perhaps
Yes,
we
all
should
right. Well, I'm
research this symbol.
Can I analyze the data present here, the hieroglyphs, the different walks of life that these people are from, or research the area? Or I'm trying to use the skills that I'm
Yeah,
provided.
absolutely. That's exactly what you
What
want to
is
do.
the best skill I have? Can I do that to do the thing?
I guess this is probably more analyzed data than research something.
Okay.
I'm looking around. I'm trying to gather up all the loose ends. They were
Archaeology
wearing,
vision.
They were wearing
Do you have
this.
read the situation by any chance?
No, but
No.
I do have shadow sight, so I might, which is the see into the spirit realm. Just is
Mm.
there magic hooji here?
What? Is there what now?
Yeah, what's it?
Magic hooji?
hmm Listen, it's an Enochian word.
Yeah.
You don't understand it. Okay.
The word that came out of my mouth.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So while you do the archaeology vision, I will look around after accosting
Okay.
all of
So
the
yeah, you're
hostages.
basically trying to put the pieces together based on what you know
yeah.
archaeologically. Okay. I would say you can use. Let's see here.
I mean, technically everything is data.
All things are in fact data, yes. So I would say if you want to use analyze data, here's what I'll say. If you want to do it here, I'm going to have you roll with a couple of challenge dice because you don't have all of your resources
Because I
available
don't have
to you.
a cellular telephone.
I would say more because you don't have like all your notes and your books and everything like
Okay,
that. However, if you wanted to wait and go back to your lair first and do it there, then I would say you could roll for that without any challenge dice.
Okay. I think that we've saved these people. I can probably wait. It'll take a while for them to get other people, assuming that like I'm just completely like these are the only cult members. Obviously, no one else is out harvesting humans. This is fine.
Seems feasible.
I don't think I have any power. Ooh, wait. Changing shape, size, and turning into entirely different objects. Okay, never mind. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to ask Amy. No. Because you're doing something. I'm going to ask the cardinal to pick up like a rock, and I'm going to use my transmutation powers to turn it into a film camera. It says I can transform it into an entirely different object.
Okay.
And then we will take photographs, which I can study
that's great.
later.
Go ahead and give me a roll for that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. Go ahead and give me a roll for it. Let's see how well you do.
Turns into a poisonous snake.
Good.
Venomous snake.
I'll fight it.
So I have
hate
a
snakes.
60% chance of turning this into a film camera. I got it at a 48.
All right, great. Yeah, so you do turn into a camera.
Yes.
You take plenty of evidence pictures.
Thank you.
Perfect.
So now I can analyze it later.
Yes,
Easier.
exactly.
Yes.
All right, you want to use your shadow sight.
I would like to use my shadow sight. Yes, I can.
Well, he takes pictures because I can't.
Oh, sure,
see
right.
into a
Right.
parallel
They're really
plane
out of focus.
spirits, magic, and unknowable arcane enemies at will.
Okay.
So I can see the nature of things, even if they're disguised as something mundane. I can also view the history and nature of objects and places, examining in the spirit plane. Are these like magical symbols? Have they been possessed?
That's great.
Is there
I like
a
how.
demon nearby?
So let me just for folks at home.
Yeah.
So Amy's character sheet has like several paragraphs of kick-ass shit that she can do. Mine just says whenever you kick the shit out of somebody, you get a bunch of points. So I'd like my points. I'd like my Slayer points. Thank you very much. Yeah, there we go.
I see into the spirit realm.
You got
so
'em.
Amy sort of
actually,
stands there.
you should hang on to that. Yeah.
Yes.
And again, many eyes open on her face.
Yeah, because I had one from before.
On their face and just like staring around the whole thing. Like at one point, talking to one of the hostages, like just stares creepily at them, looking them up and down, and then looks at like one of the dead minions.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a roll
lots
for it.
of being kind of creepy. Fuck that. 19. 19.
Yeah, 19.
Not
You're
90. I
good.
read it as
No,
91.
you're good. You're good.
910.
So
70%.
yeah, you look into the spirit realm, and when you do, you see these symbols that are etched into their heads glow brightly. And not only do they glow brightly, but there's like this faint ethereal beam that's leaving each one of those and like drifting away, and like it's coming from each of the different people that have the brands. And it's just very, very thin, almost like you know you have like a single flashlight beam over far too long of a distance where you can just sort of see like the dust motes, right?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that, and they're all kind of shooting off in the same direction towards the city.
Okay, they all appear to be pointing in the same direction.
Oh,
Do I have
yes.
any idea of like what type of magical energy it is? I don't know if I can like. Is it demonic or eldritch? Is it
So yeah, you like you're looking at it. It looks a lot like the kind of. So you're an angel, right? Okay.
Some angels disagree with that currently. I am positioned on Earth.
So back in the day, many years ago,
That was a good. Those
back
were good days.
back Old Testament days.
Oh,
Oh.
vengeance days.
Right. I mean, I imagine as soon as you say that, I imagine like graven idols everywhere, just graven all over the place.
I really liked those days.
Yes.
People coveting their neighbors' wives.
And then we rained blood on them.
Back when there were still, say, Babylonian gods and Assyrian gods and all these other gods worshipped by people in the land, sometimes those other gods had some power. It looks a lot like the kind of things you used to see back then. The kind of things that would connect
False
these
gods.
Babylonian gods to their worshippers.
So Amy does this, like closes the eyes, picks up the person, and then just starts turning them around
Right,
like a
sure.
beacon.
Yeah.
And they're like, this way, and then begins flying with them.
Okay.
I might pause if anyone tells them to stop, but yeah, otherwise
Amy,
it's like,
Amy,
They have a light pointing in a correct direction to go.
Yes, well,
Hovering in the air.
the cardinal cannot fly.
That's true. I can't. I mean, you go to look for me, and I'm not there. I've gone somewhere else. You can see me across like the parking lot, and there's a phone booth, and I'm gonna go over to the phone booth, and I'm gonna pick it up. And now everybody knows when there's an emergency, you dial 911, but I know the secret number for spiritual emergencies. I dial 666.
Right.
And I tell them when they pick up on the other line, I tell them that it's the Cardinal, it's Cardinal Dark, and then I want to be put directly through to the Pope. That I have an emergency. I need to speak to Il Papa, and I want to do my like research using the Vatican secret library of papal demon combating force.
Now, here's the question: is it the real Pope, as in like the Pope
no,
that
no,
we
it's
always
like-
see,
no,
or is it the secret Pope?
It's the secret Shadow Pope.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
totally.
The Shadow
Yeah,
Pope.
of course.
All right.
Yeah.
The real Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the one. Who
There's
runs our
100% a Shadow
organization.
Pope in this setting.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Shadow Pope.
Okay. So you contact the Shadow Pope, and you're put through because obviously you're
I'm very
Cardinal Dark,
important.
right? Yeah, very important.
I'm like
person.
protagonist level. Important.
So when you contact the Shadow Pope, what exactly what are you contacting him about?
I want to describe to him the situation. I want to tell him that we have a situation, and that we've seen these sigils, and I describe them to him.
Okay. You're trying to get information about the sigils.
At some
Yeah,
point,
because I think
Amy would
that's
definitely yell, "It's Babylonian!"
right. And I'll be
Whether-
like, yes, Holy Father, yes, they're here too. Yes, I
Yeah,
know. Yes, Holy Father, I'm keeping an eye on them. No, they haven't killed anyone today. Yes, I know. And so yeah, I think that's like probably a thing, right? Like there's probably like we have this other thing going on where like I was involved in your like coming
Yeah.
to Earth and have to babysit you for the Pope.
You're
Okay.
babysitting me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're really relying on like
think
the
you're
Pope's
both, like,
the
think you're
Shadow
babysitting
Pope's
the
knowledge
other.
here.
Yeah, I'm tapping into the Shadow
Yeah.
Pope's ability to like, figure things out.
What do you got on the skills area here that might help you?
I mean, I have researched something,
I think it works.
right?
Yeah, that
like, and I
works.
was thinking if I'm getting help, like maybe, but
Yeah.
I'm not great at it.
I'm
but-
gonna say research something +1 advantage die because the Shadow Pope is an awesome thing that this setting needed.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, let's see how we do. Nice. I got 23 with
With the boon. Okay, great. Yeah, so you succeed, and turns out the Shadow Pope is familiar with these symbols.
Of course.
I thought so.
These symbols are often associated with possession, like demons possessing things, etc. But
Greedy-ass
not
demons.
typically demons so much as the vestiges of old gods, things that were trapped in hell when their followers were sufficiently, reduced in
Yeah,
number,
yeah.
right? And they would occasionally escape from across the other side, and usually these symbols appear after they possess someone.
Right. It's a symptom of the
Yes,
possession.
exactly.
Right. Rather than okay.
From what you're describing, though, it seems to have been turned into a tool of possession, or perhaps a method
Right.
by which it happens.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like
So a thing that you learn as a result of this, however,
yeah.
Shadow Pope is able to tell you that in many cases the possession of a vestigial ancient god is preventable by having a charm or a necklace or something like that made of iron that has been blessed.
Okay.
So these vestigial deities cannot abide the touch of blessed iron, and so he warns you. If you're going to deal with something like this, it might not be a bad idea to have something like that.
Cool. Okay. Great.
Yeah, and that it's used for possession. Okay, cool.
Can you bless iron?
I can bless anything.
I like to imagine we have finished up with everything in the area.
My
and,
favorite thing to bless is hot lid.
You're coming out of the phone booth and there's just Amy holding one of these cultists, and then your astral projection
yeah, right.
behind
So I'm
them.
like, I'm hanging out the phone, and I'm like, yes, Your Holiness, and with you. And I, like step out.
We have a way of finding them.
And I look at this hapless cultist.
They have points of the thing on their head, a beam of light that will take me there, but you cannot fly.
I nod. That's right. But I can ride, and I like look over my motorcycle.
Like it's like Roach, so it's like always present.
Yeah.
when you whistle.
All I have
Yeah.
to do is reference it, and I turn around, and there it is, just in the nearest parking spot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like some tourists taking.
All right, so you want to follow this beam from its symbol to where it goes?
That's what Amy's plan
Yeah,
is.
you fly, and I'll ride on my cool bike, and then
You
you
have-
can
Professor.
do whatever.
I can fly.
Research
Professor, here's
to
the
do?
question.
Yeah.
You want to do that research. Do
Yeah.
you want to go with them, or do you want to go back to your library and do the research? Because it seems like they have a very immediate
Yeah,
ability to
it
follow
does-
this link.
It
but
does seem like
let's just go. Let's
we've
do
already
it.
got the information,
Okay.
and so I'm guessing that he takes the camera that I told him to take pictures with and like tosses it.
Yeah, no, what I do,
'Cause
so
we
there's
don't need that
there's these
anymore.
tourists like taking pictures of my bike, and I just hold the camera and I take a picture of myself and I toss the camera to one of the tourists and I get on my bike and gun it and ride off.
I
No
can't-
helmet, of course, because it's 1984 and
80s,
nobody
yeah.
cares about safety.
Yeah.
I'm smoking while I ride my bike. I had 2 beers before I got on this thing.
What? Where did you get those
I'm
beers? We were just in a
dangerous.
fight.
Yeah. that's right.
Okay.
Turn my bandolier.
I do the like. Oh God, I can't grab it or any. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's
well,
right.
I guess we'll just go then, and you guys are already gone.
I just love the idea of like later somebody taking that camera later like in a dark room and they open it and just gravel falls out.
Because this was rock.
Yeah, right,
It used
because
to
you
be a
just
rock, yeah.
turned a rock into a camera. So
Okay. Cool. That's fine. We'll go with it.
All right. So you start following this beam,
Mm-hmm.
and it's leading you into the heart of downtown, to the high-rise buildings, and
Is
it's,
it in the Space Needle?
it is not in the space needle, I'm
Damn.
afraid. However, as you're going by,
Oh, it's totally in that weird building. The one that bothers
Was that
me.
built?
I don't know.
Before?
I can say it was.
The one that
Ah,
has
the
the,
anachronism
the
building.
skinny bottom.
isn't
the
it-
like super skinny bottom and then like the full size building
I
on
hate
top
that
of it.
building.
Freaks me out.
you're not talking about the library, are you?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
no.
oh, that white one with the church at the bottom of it.
Yeah,
That's
maybe,
like,
but it's got
shaped
like this
a,
like strange like concave sort of concave sort of
Yeah,
base.
it's
and
got
then
this,
like
it
the
looks like a
building
wine
stops.
glass.
Okay.
It's a very stressful building,
no.
but apparently it's super good in earthquake.
There you go.
So as you
Awful
are making your way
listener feedback.
through the streets, you start noticing weird things. Like there are, there's like shop windows that have like TVs in them and stuff like that, and they all seem to be broadcasting like a test pattern. And you see people just like standing on the sidewalks, like staring in. Nobody, like, not really
Wait a second.
talking or anything.
Mind,
just kinda like-
mind controlling static, Babylonian gods. Are we in Snow Crash? Is this what's happening? Oh damn.
We're not in Snow Crash. But yeah, but you're kind of zipping by pretty quickly, and the first time you see it, and then you sort of slow down and you realize it's not a test pattern at all.
Oh,
It
shit.
is just a static image, though, and it's a static image of the symbol that was etched into their heads.
Oh no.
And the thing is, all these people are standing there, kind of watching, staring at these screens, and you see kind of the light reflected on their face in the shape of that symbol.
That's so bad. It's
But
bad.
Good.
so you follow the beam, and it leads you to a television station.
Oh, dear.
Yes, it's a building that's like 6 stories tall. You see there's all the broadcast antennas and satellite dishes and everything on top of the building. It's Cairo 7 or something, and it's one of our local stations. And you see the beam leading from this unconscious minion's head up into the building. You can see kind of into the lobby from the street where you are, and it's practically empty. You see that there are people lying unconscious just inside the doors.
It's like lands in front of the building, drops the person like we're here.
Yes, you are in fact here.
Okay. You two enter the building and seek out whatever unholy beast is trying to mind control everyone. And I'm going to go to the roof and try and disable the antenna.
Great.
Okay. I walk over to my bike and I hit a button that has a gun on it, and the back end of the bike opens up and all my guns come out, and I get my little like commando sequence of like putting my holy hand
just
grenades
Oh
on.
yeah,
there
it's
watching.
like it's like the Matrix where you have like a bag full of
Yeah,
weapons.
yeah.
When
Yes,
one you
lots
don't
of them.
reload
And
them, you
Cardinal-
just get new ones.
Cardinal Dark totally has knuckle tattoos that read Ave Maria if you put them together, and so I like
You only have 3? No?
yeah,
Okay.
right, Ave and then the M and then
The M,
Aria.
oh, you
yeah,
gotta
right,
have 'em
you gotta have 'em
together,
together. Yeah. So I get all geared up, And then I would put my sunglasses on, but I'm already wearing them. So I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Put on
You
a
put a
second pair.
second pair of
Right.
sunglasses on.
I'm gonna schwoom
Step
up
them up.
to the top of the building
Okay, great.
and try and energy blast the antenna, like
All right.
create like electric feedback to disable.
That's great. So since you're
Clear
heading
you're
up
an
to the
archaeologist and not like any other kind of scientist.
Since you're heading up to the top of the building, we're going to go ahead and start the next conflict scene because
Yeah.
it turns out there's danger up there.
Oh, good.
Don't say.
Okay,
Good thing
cool.
I can't be harmed in my astral form.
So for hero points and
Yes.
resistance. So does
Oh,
our
yeah.
resistance?
You
is
get
it
all your
per
resistance
conflict?
back,
Okay.
and you get all your hero points back.
Okay.
Good.
And the hero
If you had
points,
more hero points than
Yes.
your minimum,
Yeah.
you would keep any extras.
keep those. Okay.
Yeah.
So the 2 that I got from Slayer, I keep, and then I get 3 more. For the
No,
conflict, or
sorry.
These ones
Like,
go away.
yeah, you basically go up to your minimum.
Right. Yeah. So 3
Yeah,
would
so
be
you
the
have 3.
amount that
yeah,
we have.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Perfect. So it's just a
alright.
reset number.
Yep,
Got it.
exactly. But if you had more than that, you don't lose them. Or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So the ones that I get for defeating a villain or a squad of minions is about momentum in a conflict.
Yep,
So
exactly.
if we beat, so I would want to go after the little guys to power up for the big guy. Okay, totally.
All right.
understand
So we
now.
have these 3. We got that right there. We got that right there. Perfect. So I'm going to build the initiative deck here. You guys heard me say that
Ready.
you get all your resistance back.
Yeah,
right?
I
Yes.
did.
Yeah, you
'cause
don't have
I
a
am
zero.
conscious
Yeah.
Yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah.
Just you're back. in
Excellent,
business.
excellent, excellent. Okay, cool.
Plus side, I'm an angel.
Yeah.
I heal fast.
All right, so Professor Harding, you soar up to the top of the building while these 2 basically go in the front door. Is that right?
I think that was.
Oh
the
yeah,
plan.
yeah. I'm gonna kick the front door and we're going in there.
Great. All right, you kick
Opens the other side.
Yeah.
You kick the front door in, and you see that the unconscious bodies are actually security guards that have been sprawled out here on the floor.
Oh, dear.
You see that all of the monitors that were, they're showing like different TV stations normally, or different feeds from different studios here in the building. They're all showing the same pattern, that same image of the symbol. And if you sort of stand in front of one of them too long, even you start feeling a little woozy. You probably don't, but you can even start feeling a little bit woozy as it
I don't watch
projects
TV.
onto you.
Did you
All
tell
right.
us about the blessed iron, or did you just?
I just assume that I have it, and we'll have to roll something to bring it out later.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm clairvoyant.
Oh, good.
right?
Good. Good.
Major villain.
Oh wow.
Good.
Okay. There's 2 of them.
I'm so glad that this.
Well,
is
there might be 2 of them, or it might be the same major villain getting
gets to
multiple
go.
turns.
Yeah, that's true.
Which
Or
is a
3
way
turns
to
in
yeah,
this case.
which is a way to break up the so we don't just like alpha
Cool.
strike them and be like,
Rad.
no, that's
we all
All
punch
right.
Satan as hard as we can. He dies.
All right.
He started with
All
10
right.
hit points. Now he has none. 'cause we got
Right.
to go first.
Why did I design Satan so weak? I don't know.
Right.
That's a
Should have given
mistake.
Satan higher saving.
All right. So, Professor Harding,
Yay.
you get up to the rooth.
Yeah.
And when you're drifting up onto the roof, you can see that there are actually people up here on the rooftop. There is looks like a portable generator that has been hauled up here, and they've connected it up to one of the broadcast antenna, right?
Okay.
And looks like they're kind of still messing with it and standing around. You can see that up here at the top, there are 6 people. They look like probably TV station employees because they're wearing like the button-up shirts and ties.
I'm
and
still wearing
everything,
my
right?
pantsuit.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I assumed you were still
Yeah,
dressed
you haven't-
even
Yeah.
in astral form.
You haven't changed in your astral form, right? But there are 6 people up here that are basically messing with this broadcast antenna, right? And as you sort of kind of are drifting out to the side, they probably don't see you, so you kind of have the drop on them. The 2 of you start making your way up through the building, and it seems empty, right?
We take the elevator. There's just like us standing in an elevator.
Yeah, some Beethoven playing and yeah, good.
Yep. So you make your way up. You're going past like empty floor after empty floor, and you finally get up to a floor that has some people on it, and you see that inside the newsroom of the studio, that's where the other people are, and you can see that there are a group of station employees. They look like they're probably like the producers and engineers that normally run the studio, have all been herded into the production booth of the news studio. Out in the main area where like the news desk is, you see a figure that is obviously, like you can tell without even having to use your shadow sight, obviously a very powerful supernatural creature. You see this. It looks just like a normal person at first, except it's like 6 feet tall, square jawed, like short cut hair, very handsome, kind of vaguely Middle Eastern looking, wearing like a business suit, and eyes glowing bright white, and there's like a halo of red, like wavy red around him.
Well, that should have been the first sign.
Speaking
Damn
in
wavy halos.
speaking in something you recognize as like ancient Assyrian, and speaking very softly, and as he does so, you see like the people in the booth are like scurrying to follow commands. Like maybe they can understand him somehow. It doesn't. The
Who's at 9?
thing is,
Possession.
they don't appear to be like have symbols on their heads or anything. It looks like he's just basically saying, "Do what I tell you to do, or I'm gonna kill you," right? And so like they're terrified, and they're managing the broadcast from inside here. He's just sort of standing out in the main area, like watching this happen. So that's the setup. Tell me how the two of you enter the newsroom.
Not subtly. It sounds
Yeah, no, like I
yeah.
think right through the front
Like, you
door,
kick down the
guns
door.
blazing. Yeah,
Okay.
And then behind, furl of wings.
yeah. It'd be pretty badass. Like, I'm all like, in your eye, wings, fucking fire and stuff. Oh man,
All right.
Yeah.
we're cool.
No, we're cool, but we're not subtle.
No.
So
We're here to destroy you.
Oh yeah.
with the cardinal, and seeing this guy with the glowing eyes and the halo of red light around his head, do you think the cardinal would go in charging this guy?
Almost certainly.
Almost certainly. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
You thinking katana or you're?
Well, we'll start with the Uzis.
Okay.
In case I need to like get rid of the like lesser demons, then when those run out, I throw them away, and then I'll choose another
It's
weapon.
gonna be like, do you Reaper this? And you just
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
God, listen, the thing
don't
is, I have so many, I can just toss them aside. I buy them in bulk. From the
At
Vatican.
Costco.
No, I get them straight from the source. I get them right from Rome. They send them to me in crates.
some fresh Italian Uzis
That's
with
right.
some Uzo on the
Mhm.
side.
All right. So you come.
my favorite.
You come barging in.
Yeah.
Literal guns ablazing,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Firing at this guy, and like you fill just the newsroom with gunfire. You see the hostages, the employees,
They're my hostages
like
now.
dive behind the equipment in the
Yes.
booth and everything. And when that happens, you basically run out of bullets, and you realize the guy still with the glowing eyes is still standing there, right?
Yeah.
And he sort of whirls around towards you. And says to you, and you hear him speaking in Assyrian, but then you sort of
Right, I
hear
can
the
understand.
translation
Okay.
in your head. He says, "Who would defy the will of Thazkazar?" And so you go
How do
charging
you
towards him.
spell that?
THASKASZAR.
Wow, I would not have expected that.
Thazkazar.
It's spelled triangle shape, dot, sideways triangle, 2 dots, and some lines. 4 dots.
Umlaut.
Yeah.
Wingdings. It's spelled
It's spelled wingdings, yes.
It's called cuneiform. Come on.
So you go, you sort of, go charging
Yeah, like
at him.
the Uzis are they're a way of introducing myself
like a
to
prelude,
the room.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
It's like ringing the doorbell, right? So I just and then I
Prelude to dark.
throw them aside.
Yeah. So you go charging in, and right as you're about to slam into him, basically he just vanishes.
Yeah, of course. Like the
Right.
first assault has to be
Yeah.
met with the like, look how badass this
Yeah.
guy is.
So he just
Oh, yeah.
vanishes, and you actually end up striking like a camera that was right there. And it looks like what actually happened was he made you think that camera was him.
Yeah,
Right. And
yeah.
you see he's actually standing like 10 feet off to the left. Right.
What a
Right.
douche.
Oh my God, is he like arrogant villain clapping at me? Like,
Well done, Mr.
God
Cardinal.
damn it. Yeah.
You're actually going to take
Mr. Cardinal was my father.
not a joke. You're going to take 2 damage.
Okay, I take 2 damage.
from striking the camera.
Really, it's emotional damage.
Yeah,
It's
indeed.
just.
All right, and that brings up Amy.
So I'm like I'm
Oh,
dancing.
it's me.
With the,
Yeah,
Yes.
this is happening. I'm like,
So
why
you
are
saw all that
attacking
happen.
in a camera and like
Yeah.
look over to
Yeah.
where he is.
Yeah, you saw all that happen. So Amy.
Okay.
I see this happen, and I am going to. I'm gonna dazzle again because I like this hindering attack, and if I'd read the card, I might have put this one as a better power. So I'm going to like unfurl the wings, open the eyes, grow another pair of wings. Eventually, we'll get to the full.
No, sure,
shebang
right, yeah.
of,
Just
like,
be all wings.
All wings. Yeah, it's a seraphim form
Yeah,
eventually,
yeah.
but we're not quite there yet. And begin glowing and just be like, "Hold, villain," in a deep, threatening voice.
Okay, go ahead and give me
As-
a roll.
as we
Just so
roll.
you know, I meant to mention it earlier, but you don't have to choose to make a hindering attack until after you roll the dice. So
Oh, so I can do either
Yeah,
one,
you roll
and
and
then
then-
I
and
roll.
then
Oh,
roll
because
first,
that
yeah.
makes the precision attack
Much
way
better.
more
Yeah,
helpful
yeah, exactly.
than declaring it. Okay, exactly 60.
No, that's
Six.
6.
6.
That's good,
I'm
that's
really
better.
Bad
Yep.
at percentile dice.
would you like to make it a hindering attack?
Yeah, I would like to make it a hindering attack.
Excellent.
Because it flips the initiative card face down instead of dealing damage.
All right,
Yeah.
and so this one, I assume?
Yes.
Okay,
next
great.
one.
All right, so you're dazzling him. Why don't you describe exactly what it looks like when this guy is dazzled by your impressive wingspan?
I mean, I think in this case it's literally blinding, but it's like
Okay,
a,
literally
like a
blinding, okay.
targeting blinding.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah, like
sure.
it's like beams of light just going straight
So he's
into
got
the
like
eyes.
these glowing eyes, and your like beams of light hit
Yeah.
his eyes.
I'm like, I
and
can
when,
outglow you.
And when your beams of light hit his glowing eyes dim.
Yeah.
All right, and that brings up the
My
professor. You're up on
God,
the
it's
roof,
more
or you're
powerful.
hovering around the roof.
Yes.
You see that there are 6 station employees.
Yes.
They do have the brands on their forehead.
Okay.
And they're messing with this generator and the broadcast antenna.
Okay.
So I should have pointed out earlier, but I got caught up in descriptions of Uzis and everything.
Like you do.
As you do. Saving the employees in the booth is obviously the complication, a
Okay.
complication here. So I
Because
think
they
you
are
can,
not cultists.
Yep, a thing you can do to get some hero points.
Okay.
Additionally, you have an objective in the scene. Obviously, I think Blue Jay's already caught on to this, but shutting down the broadcast would be a great way to keep the symbol from being broadcast across the city and causing mass possession.
Yes, no mass possession. It's a horrible idea. Okay, so I think the thing is that I would like to do is like I came up here to stop the transmission.
Yeah.
And if I can just magic missile the thing that they're trying to transmit with, then they can't transmit. And of course, the city will forgive me later.
Sure. So you're trying to get the actual antenna itself?
Yes.
Okay. Sure. Sounds great. Go ahead and give me a roll for your energy blast.
Okay. So that's 80% chance of success. Please don't fail me now. 30.
Great. Okay, so you're going to succeed. So you blast the antenna, and you sort of sear out like one leg of the antenna, and it starts to kind of collapse onto one side.
And it's
Looks like
Christmas too, so the antenna's all covered in Christmas lights.
it is.
Oh,
It
no. See, this is like a Christmas movie, just like Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Right, yeah.
So it collapsed to the side, and you feel a great weight of relief as the antenna. You see the lights flicker and dim, right?
Yeah.
Except that's when you notice that they've actually got this generator hooked up to like 2 other satellites that are
Mother
sort
of
of projecting
pearl.
off in different directions. So it looks like basically these are like the long-range broadcast satellites. So they're basically like there's 3 different
Can you
ones. and they're-
astral project
yeah.
into space? Because
Could I-
that's where this is going to go
Okay,
next.
okay. Could I have power stunt to make it an area attack to do the other 2?
They're too far apart is the
Okay,
problem. Like
okay.
they're kind of on opposite sides of the top of the building.
Okay.
But
It does say close to the target.
yes,
so
so
that's-
you did, however, progress this objective in your favor. So you do get an extra hero point for that.
Give.
Okay, that was great, and so that brings up.
And after when they when it calls attention to me because I fire the energy blast and they like turn to look at me, I say, "By the way, your suits are awful."
Good.
Yeah, thank
Fantastic.
So kind.
Thank you.
We're such good heroes.
So the minions. They run over to you and they attempt to. I mean, you're sort of like hovering right
Yeah,
above
I'm
the roof, right?
floating,
They attempt to leap on you and tackle you.
They can't.
They can't. They pass right through you. Vroom.
Do they jump off the building on accident?
They don't.
That would have been nice.
All right, Cardinal, you're up.
Okay, well, now that I've defeated this video camera, I knock it over.
Thoroughly.
I've defeated it.
He is over here.
I meant to do that. Yeah, I turn. I'm like, I know, I can see him, and I'm gonna reach down and I'm gonna grab like a bunch of. If this wasn't a Christmas show, it would be like regular cabling, but it's Christmas lights. And I grab them and I whip them around over my head and try to lasso this
Very nice.
Assyrian
Okay.
deity.
Very nice.
With
All
my
right.
super strength.
Okay, go ahead and give me a roll for your super strength.
Okay, let's roll these guys.
I think lassoing is actually super dexterity, but whatever.
I assume I can just like whip it around him
Really hard, yeah.
and then just throw a yank on him, right?
Okay.
I'm not trying
Sure.
to like
Sure.
disarm him. Whose team are you on, asshole? All right.
Team
Let's see,
Harding.
60.
60, that is a success. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, yeah. So you like whip this this lasso around him, and you can see that it sort of like lashes up and strikes, and like it should have hit and like scored down his neck and everything.
Yeah.
But you see, there's just like one little drop of blood that trickles out,
Little broken
and he's
bulb.
like
It's-
and gasps. He's like,
How dare you
blood.
touch me?
yeah, and I nod, and I've got these like string of Christmas lights, and I'm like, that's right. There's still a little Christ in Christmas. I start like yanking him towards me.
all right. He.
Blood, naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he basically like you're kind of reeling him in.
Yeah.
You see his eyes flare up bright once more. He surges towards you, like basically like
Yeah.
super fast movement, and you can see like one of his hands just distends and becomes like claws.
Cool.
He slashes at you, and you're gonna take 18 damage.
Okay.
Except it's not damage from getting slashed. You see, he's actually still like on the other side of the room, and that was just like an illusion he projected into your
My
mind.
mind.
Right?
Mind
Yes.
damage.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
However, you think doing that fatigued him a bit, right? He
so
sort
I
of
can
like,
see him.
so he sort
Okay.
of staggers a little bit.
Cool.
All right.
How
That
much?
was
Sorry, how
the-
much was that?
Sorry, that was
18.
18.
was
Yes,
it? Okay,
thank you.
cool. So I made
Sorry.
20. Yeah,
Math is
perfect.
hard.
Math and remembering.
Math and
both
remembering
at the
things
same
are hard,
time.
yep.
It's not good. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think since it's like illusion, like I'm not going to use my super toughness. I'm just like,
Yeah.
my one weakness, my brain.
My one weakness, damage.
Yeah, if only this were not, like,
Yeah.
If
All right.
he were scratching me with his claws, fine.
Uh-oh.
Again.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh no.
So you
Mother
can't see
of
this, but
pearl.
Rodney's a huge cheater, and all three of the first cards are major villain. So it's fine.
Okay.
Hi, leader.
Yeah, do you
so
wanna
you're up on the roof,
inspire?
though.
Yeah,
Why
but
don't
I
you
can
tell-
move other people's cards.
You
up.
can, but think about how you're gonna be doing that exactly.
You just yell through the wall, pop your
Hey.
head in, do better, pop your head out.
Yeah.
Now I will point out that you are at the top.
Yeah, but it's
Off
the
the top
major
of the bottom.
villain.
Of the top of the bottom, yep.
That's
Yeah.
causing issues for everybody. Can I move him back?
Afraid not.
You can only lead us, not counter lead him.
Okay. I go into the future, get a cellular telephone,
Okay,
come back.
yep.
No.
Give them
Well, no, there
a
are
ring.
cell phones. They're just enormous.
Well, I couldn't touch it anymore.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I feel like my my getting around is teleportation, so I think I could just like pop down and pop back up to help.
Maybe when they were punching you, instead of them just like passing through you, trying to grab you, you just
I'm
like
just like, "Not here
nope,
anymore."
just out of there and like
You
checked
like
in on us.
or phase down like through the floor.
Because
right? Yeah.
obviously these are just minions, right?
Sure, yeah.
The bad guy is somewhere else, and I have an inherent lock on
Okay.
the celestial energy of one of my pupils and the deep problems in the other one. So I'm gonna I'm gonna use two hero points to
Okay.
move the tank up 2.
To here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like I only
Sure.
have 3.
Yeah.
So.
All right, yeah. So we'll say that basically, like when they tried to grab you, you sort of drifted like down through the floor,
Yeah.
into the newsroom. So you're like hovering above the newsroom, basically.
It was like, I'm going to take a little bit longer than I thought I was going to.
Okay. Sounds
so
good.
I'm going to check in on them to make sure that obviously the big bad isn't up here because these are just the same old
Right.
glyph
Yeah.
people. And then I was like, well, you obviously just do whatever. I'll be, it's fine. No, don't worry about it. And then, go back to doing the
All right. Okay. So yeah, and you shout to them. Thascajar, you're kind of reeling him in. He lets himself be reeled in until he's like almost right on top of you. He opens his mouth, and you can see that when he does so, all of his teeth are like pointed teeth and like long, like needle-like teeth, and his jaw sort of distends open.
He's a Todd McFarlane villain.
Yeah,
I see.
absolutely.
Perfect.
Todd McFarlane
Good.
villain, yep.
Good.
And he inhales, and it's almost like you feel your soul being inhaled out of your body.
Oh, that's not good.
Right, soul-suckingly bad. Yeah, also a Todd McFarlane premise.
Yeah. All right, so he's going to, fortunately for you, unfortunately for him, he's going to fail to suck out your soul.
Good.
And when that happens, you realize it's because like you're kind of getting accustomed to feeling his illusions, and you realize like his mouth didn't open like that.
I
He didn't
see.
try and suck out your soul, right?
That's
You're just sort of getting inoculated to his illusions. And he kind of frowns.
I once was blind, but now I see.
So he sort of frowns, and then he just reaches out towards you and tries to like grab you by the throat.
Okay.
And he says, "Mortal, you think you can resist Thascajar?" And he tries to
do
like
think
crush your
Yes.
throat.
He
Yes,
can
I-
read my mind.
Oh no.
Well, I rolled 100,
Ah.
which is good for you.
As I do think I can resist that. For
Yes.
Sure.
So he like grabs you by the throat, and like you feel he does have a really strong iron grip, but it's just the grip of a human.
That's
like
right.
he's
Yeah.
he's not. Yeah. He,
Weak
yeah.
mortal hands.
Yeah.
You flex your neck muscles.
Yeah, right.
All right. So it's your turn.
Yeah, I mean,
So
obviously.
he's like got his hand on your throat.
Yeah, obviously, I just headbutt him as hard as I can.
Okay. Great.
Like, clearly, that's the move
Yeah, that's
here.
the move. All right.
Yeah.
So it sounds like super strength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead and get your roll. Don't forget an advantage die for
So now I'm in melee.
Yeah.
Be all heroic.
Okay, I got a 12.
Okay. 12 is a success.
Yep.
You wanna?
I will definitely use my super strength power attack, so it's 32 instead
right.
of 12.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. So you headbutt him. He goes flying
I
backward.
think I think like he's grabbing my neck, right? And I think
Yeah.
I flex my neck muscles so hard it throws his hand off,
Right.
and then I headbutt him in
Right.
the face and he goes flying.
Right. So he goes flying back, slams into like a lighting ladder that was there, and then the floor opens up underneath you, and you begin to plummet.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Oop,
Excellent.
That was one.
Good.
I'm gonna take that one away because that wasn't real. All right, those cancel, and you're going to take 58 damage.
Wow.
Okay.
And fall down
so
several
now,
floors.
Now I will cool down. I'll use
Okay.
my toughness. Brings
Alright.
it down to 38, and I'm gonna spend
A hero
my
point.
hero point.
Okay, yeah.
So
all
it
right.
brings it down to 8.
Yeah. This guy is he's beefy. He is a major villain.
So he opens the ground and you don't fall down.
I mean, I fall like it's because he just like tears the ground open, right? Like this is
Yeah.
actually happening,
Yeah.
and I just fall into. I probably land in like a board meeting or something, right? Like there's a bunch of people.
You actually land about 3 feet down as
Mm-hmm.
you realize that was just an illusion.
Right? Yeah. Perfect. So I imagine falling.
You're
And
like,
then
"Ah!"
It's like when you're
it's like a
sleeping.
dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
You-
All right.
It really hurts.
So Professor Harding, now you're up.
Okay, so I had
me with my mind.
like teleported really quick, like magically teleported down,
Mhm.
saw how things were going, gave a little like pep talk, office pep talk.
I didn't feel particularly pepped.
Shh, it's fine. You're not really that peppy. It's not
True.
very effective. And then like
Right,
pop
right.
back onto the roof. And then I'm completely ignoring the minions at this
Okay.
point because I think obviously they can't do anything to me because I'm
Right.
not even here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to attempt to energy blast again at
Okay.
one of the other two.
Great. All right. Go ahead. Give me a roll
I
for
feel like
that.
that's gotten you in
Yeah.
trouble in the past. They can't do anything to me. I'm not really here. Ow!
And then a cultist breaks into my basement home.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a 1.
1.
All right. That's still a success.
It is a success.
All right. Great.
Is this one close to the other one, or are they all very separate?
They're all very separated.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
all right.
I
yep.
take out 2 of 3.
You've taken out the second one. You get another hero point for that.
Boom.
So here, you can pass one down to her. Yep. There we go. Hooray. Okay. Yep. So you've taken out 2 of the broadcast satellite or broadcast antenna. The minions, realizing they can't hurt you, they actually go over to the last one and they start surrounding it to sort of block you from damaging it. And
good
one
one.
of them begins like basically rerouting power on the generator to crank as much power into this one
They're
as
trying
possible.
to finish this before I can.
Nerds.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, they are in fact nerds. All right.
That's what I thought.
This is an opposed complication, so they progress their half.
Oh no.
All right. Or an opposed objective, I should say. Okay. So that brings up Amy. Hi, Amy.
I just sort of watched all of the beating that you took. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is a refreshing change for me.
Yeah, it's true. You got beat down pretty hard last time.
And wants to unfurls another set of wings, and is just becoming kind of a writhing mass of feathers, but not quite there yet. And
So
I
many
want
wings.
to create a wall of darkness between Balskazar and the people in the office to try and
Yeah.
help them, being like,
Okay,
you
great.
should run away now,
Great.
puny mortals.
Great. Perfect. Yeah.
Using my darkness manipulation.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just-
Go ahead and give me a roll for that.
Uh,
In fact, I'm going to say that because this guy is so distracted with dealing with the cardinal, I'm going to give you an advantage die on this roll as well.
Thank you. Yes.
yeah, let's do it. That's a 38, so it succeeds
And a boon?
Yep.
and a boon.
Excellent. I want to say that you actually managed to get all of them out.
Run, mortals, and there's just
Yes.
a wall of
Yeah.
shadow.
Dude, I would be
Yeah. So
scared.
that
I
wall
would
of shadow
definitely
basically
run.
makes it so that they are able to escape without being seen. You actually you progress the
love
compli-
the-
you progress it
grabbing.
twice.
Nice.
Because of your boon, and so you get 2 hero points. Very nice.
Great.
All right, so the hostages are now safe.
Yeah. Nice.
And ciao.
Excellent. All right.
I can't wait to punch this guy some more.
I want to hurt him too.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Tank up top. Tank up top. That's
It's
good.
better. It's better.
Bad guy. Artillery. Leader. Minion. Bad guy. Okay,
Okay.
so that's good. So
he's pretty
I'm
spread
before
out, and
the
we got a bunch in
minions,
the
like,
middle.
I feel like that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Does, like-
Professor, would you like to manipulate this at all?
You're okay, damage?
I can use my hero power for
I feel
30.
like I don't sense that my
I'm at about a
my
quarter of damage.
students
Mhm,
are in danger.
You never taught me anything.
So I am not going to.
I'm just pretty sure you're
check in on
studying
them.
me.
It's fine. Don't worry
so
about it.
So Thascajar, he basically is like disentangling himself from this ladder that you had thrown him into, and he kind of waves his hand, and the entire studio seems to ripple, and you see. Not the studio, but like almost like you're standing on the roof. And you're looking out over this gleaming utopian Seattle, right? Like there's flying cars and there's monorails and there's no hunger.
Is there a
and-
giant 80-foot tall statue of Jeff Bezos?
If by
Happened yet.
if by Jeff Bezos
84.
if by Jeff Bezos you mean Thascajar, yes, he
I
says.
think that's what I meant.
he
Yes.
says, "Listen,
quite.
Same,
sub-"
right?
He said, and you hear his voice. It's sort of crooning in your mind.
Right.
It says, submit to the will of Thascajar. Behold, my plan for the future.
Embrace my
We can
mighty
bring it
spheres.
about together.
I want to rule the galaxies.
not
Everything's
that one.
dark touches.
I gotta
will
get
be
that away.
yours.
All right. He's going to fail to.
That's right.
He's going to fail to convince you with his vision of the future here. However, I'm going to move this up to as he kind of distracts you. So that was his failed
I can only
vision.
do it before the first turn begins.
That is correct. All right. So now you're up, Cardinal.
All right. So where do I perceive him to be? Like now that I've shaken off his.
You see him
vision.
still standing there right in front of you, right?
Okay.
So basically, he kind of picked himself up. He created the illusion around you, but you and he are still
Okay.
in the same positions.
Cool. All right. I would like to uppercut him so hard he goes up through the roof.
Perfect. Sounds great.
I want to punch him through the damn roof.
That sounds good.
Okay. All right. So let me do that. So I'm gonna run over. I'm gonna uppercut him.
So,
your super strength and your super toughness still have
It's true.
time tokens on them.
Yeah.
So this is probably just an anything else roll.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I see. So when they have the tokens
Yeah,
on them,
you
the number.
can't-
Okay, that's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
So I'm still drained from my
Yeah,
battle with
exactly,
him
yeah.
before, but I still fight.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
So I've only got 50% chance. That's actually really cool. Okay. I got a 97, so I would have failed even if it was
All right,
super strength.
Yeah. So you go over, take a swing at him, and you realize that he was not actually right in front of you. He's
Yeah.
actually right behind
Oh,
you.
that's great. And this is the bit where I probably have blood dripping out of my nose from getting punched on before, and I've run out of super juice, and I'm just angry now. I'm just taking swings at him. It's like the part where the Punisher, you're just calm down.
Yeah,
man. Just
yeah,
sit
exactly.
down, just
Take a breather.
relax. Yeah.
So you punch right through his illusion. The illusion vanishes, and then the sort of angle of the scene turns, and we see you staggering forward, and he's standing behind you, and he's swinging a pipe at you.
Yes. Where did he get that pipe
Who
from?
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's an vision.
He's going
Goons
to
with the
hit
pipe.
you for 38 damage
Ow, a
as he
pipe.
whacks you with that pipe.
Okay, well, I might have to use another
All
hero
right,
point here,
sounds good.
So I take another.
All right, that brings up Amy again.
So when I made
46.
the wall of shadow, that didn't use one of my power stunts. So
That's right.
I didn't put any tokens.
Yep.
on.
Not
Okay.
unless it was obstructing or precision, right?
Yep.
And
Correct.
this token comes off at the
Start of
beginning
your turn,
my
yep.
turn, so I also have access to that.
You absolutely do.
Excellent. He is within a close range.
Yeah, he's near to you. Yeah.
I'm gonna move up to him. Like I've gotten all the humans out and
Yeah.
just like begin to becoming a floating ball of wings and eyes.
Okay.
And then I am going
So
to
many
just
eyes.
envelop him in darkness. Like
Okay. Okay.
just like actually, but in a way of I'm essentially hugging him into darkness.
Okay.
So I am enveloping
Darkness
him in the wings.
hug.
So you want to make this a melee attack?
I would like
then.
to make this a
Great.
melee
Sounds
attack.
good.
Like, you will welcome into the kingdom of heaven, or you will die.
All right.
No, it doesn't
Go
make
ahead and give me
sense.
a roll. So it's a melee attack. So add an advantage die into it.
Yeah.
You probably know this dude from way back.
78, so it doesn't succeed. But I'm going to spend a token
Yeah. There you go.
to increase it to 80%, so it does
You're
succeed.
so heroic.
And then add a challenge die in.
And then I'm going to roll that challenge die.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And nothing. Yes.
All right.
Oh,
so
no, nothing bad happens.
78 damage.
And I guess actually I could have made it a precision attack, but whatever. We're going to keep the 78 damage. And it's an obstructing attack, so they take 2 challenge dice to their next roll.
Excellent.
Because it's dark.
Yeah, I could have.
Because I'm over here
flipped it
like,
to-
I
Oh no,
punch.
that wouldn't have helped. It would have been 87. That would have been even worse.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. All
I'm
right,
over-
yeah.
I'm over here punching him, and you're just like, check out my multiple exciting abilities to use. That's good.
So
You're doing it.
he's hammered you down to the ground with this pipe. Then he gets swirled in darkness. So he's actually going to lash out at you
Yeah, no, that's fair.
using his illusions, and he shows you basically a vision of
I wish he would.
of your companion being basically like flayed by
Cool.
your darkness that you just created.
Ooh.
Oh,
All right, but you
wow.
gave him 2 challenge dice in this roll, right?
Yep.
Cool.
That's a lot.
Yeah, he has a lot to this roll. Okay.
That's a lot of skulls.
So he's going to miss you, and
It's like just flailing inside the wings. It's like trying to.
so
snag
because
back.
he tried to turn your darkness against you, basically,
already a fallen
right? Like
angel.
he tries to turn your darkness against you, but you realize like you have control of the darkness. You would never let it flay your ally unless you wanted it to flay your ally.
Yeah.
So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to let you make another attack here. Basically, like as he's trying to
Just a
turn
regular
your
melee attack.
no,
Or-
using your darkness manipulation. Just roll for darkness manipulation.
Like it
Roll
hits
for
him
darkness.
twice.
18.
Okay, great. Yeah, so yeah, you basically like he tries to turn your darkness against you, and you're like, no, this is my
Nah, bruh.
darkness, right? And you basically turn it around on him and manage to flay him a bit, and that brings up
Just a little. Just a little flavor.
little
like-
flaying,
they're
minor
like
flaying. That brings up Professor Harding.
Steel feathers.
Well, third time's the charm.
Absolutely.
And this time there are a bunch of minions around this, right? So this time, if it hits, I could make it an area attack.
If you want, sure.
Yeah.
And that would get past the minion
why
into
not?
the thing.
Yeah.
Because you said they're blocking.
Yeah.
But if it were area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So
Go ahead and
let's
give me-
try and hit first.
Yep.
I have 80%. Meh. I got 67.
Great. You want to make an area
I
attack?
would like it to be an area
Yeah, it seems
attack.
like a
Sounds
plan.
good. Then go ahead and
So-
roll against the minions.
78, which is still a success because it was an 80% chance.
Right. Okay. Great. Okay, so you fire this blast, destroy the last broadcast antenna. It like causes a huge explosion. You see several minions go flying. You're actually going to take out 3 of them, leaving only 2 of these people up and sort of staggering around. And as they sort of peer at the smoldering ruins of the antenna, you see they kind of like stand upright. And it's like their jaws go slack and their eyes kind of glaze over. So we're almost 8 o'clock, so I think we're going to fast forward just a tiny little bit here. So basically at this point, you've succeeded in your goal of shutting down the broadcast. So
Yay.
no longer is this symbol of Thashkajar in danger of
I get another
enslaving
one?
the city. You do, in fact, get another one.
Boom.
So the question is, at this point, Thashkajar is going to try and get away. I assume that each of you would like to stop him from escaping. Is that correct?
If
All
he
right.
gets to me, then yes. But I assume these two are the first.
Well, I was
to
trying.
try.
That's why I was trying to get him up onto the roof. I was trying to punch him through the
Okay.
ceiling. So
No,
that's fine. We got
So
it.
you're doing
So rather than doing a whole other round, what I'm going to do is ask each of you to tell me what you would do to stop him from escaping. He is corporeal, so he can't just like fly away or anything. So he would basically try and make an escape out through the building, running for the stairs or elevator or something like that. So we'll start with the Cardinal here. What would
Okay.
you do to try and get
So
him?
if he like makes a break for it and runs
Yeah.
away, I will reach into my utility belt and I will take out my sharpened iron cross, and it's a throwing star in the shape of a cross, and I'll throw it at him and
Okay.
try to hit him in the back.
Okay, give me a roll for that.
Okay, cool. I throw it really hard.
Yeah, super strength. Yeah,
So-
absolutely. 100%.
Okay, all right. I got a 70, which is
Perfect.
10 under my superpower.
You know what? Actually, because that is going to take him out, so you just take him out.
Okay, cool. And
Yeah.
I used the iron from before, right? From
Oh,
the,
it's
the
blessed.
shadow poach.
The blessed iron.
Blessed
Yeah, yeah,
iron.
yeah,
Right, so
yeah.
I throw it and it hits him right square in the back.
All right, yeah. So you strike him in the back. When it hits him, you see that light that's in his eyes flares up really, really brightly, and then just like fades away. This was a sharpened cross that you threw at him. Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
it would have been like a
Yeah. Okay. So
Yep.
basically, a stake cross,
A throwing cross.
a throwing
Yeah.
cross. Yeah. So it
dagger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hits him.
But it's sharp on all the points.
Yeah. So it hits him.
It's all off balance and wobbling.
His eyes flare up, and then he collapses to the ground, and it doesn't kill him, right? Like he's been stabbed. He's not
Yeah.
like blown up or anything, and he's like rolling around the floor, going, "Oh, why? What's wrong with my back? My back."
Yeah.
And you quickly realize that this guy was just possessed by Thatch Kajar.
Right.
Buddy,
Not
sorry.
actually like a person, right? It's just like a guy that was possessed by Thatch Kajar. But you have your shadow sight, so
Bing.
you see that when this blessed iron strikes this guy, like his eyes flare up, and what that actually is that's actually Thatch Kajar leaving his body, right? And you see that he basically it's like he gets sucked through a keyhole almost. Like you see this ethereal image of a person-ish that just gets like sucked through a really narrow space and then vanishes.
Waves goodbye.
With that, you manage to defeat Thatch Kajar.
Yes.
Complete the Power of Symbols, aka Eldritch Mysteries #1, and have managed to save the day. So if we were playing a campaign,
Heck yes.
let's see here. You were defeated in the first round,
Definitely
right?
was. Very, very defeated.
So when-
Actually, very exactly.
Yeah.
Thrown in the lake.
So when you you're that night you're cooling down, you're sitting down for I don't know, do you dinner? Do you drink?
I think Amy does a facsimile of food.
Okay, great.
And so it's like a container. It's like a can of tuna
Yeah.
that is opened and like put onto a plate.
Yeah, and so we see you like sitting in front of your
With, like, a
TV.
piece of parsley. Doesn't touch
Yeah,
it.
you're like watching the
Throws it out.
news, and it's like the news report of like what happened and like the chaos in the city and everything. And so it's like you in your darkened apartment, like the only light is the light of the television illuminating
I
you.
think it's her.
Yeah, or
it's
her,
her
or yeah,
lair.
yeah.
Oh,
the
it's
only
my lair.
It's her
Right.
lair. The only light is the light of the television illuminating you as you eat your like tuna, right?
There's
Uh,
actually a cat box down there. 'cause
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know if you have to go to the
Do you
bathroom or
need
anything
this?
ever.
Do you need litter? I don't know.
But
And so like the panel kind of like starts out the long shot and then it zooms in a little bit and it zooms in even further and we see like right back here on the back of your neck is a little symbol that is starting to grow.
in my own home.
You gain the lasting repercussion, which you write down at the bottom. You gain the lasting repercussion marked for possession.
Damn.
I wasn't damaged at all.
It's true.
So
Cool.
do I
Just
get something
say-
cool?
My warmest personal regards.
Wow.
Exactly. A thumbs up, and
Well done.
that's it. Yeah.
Let's see here.
Astral projection is the best power. I'm just gonna say.
Until you fight something that like can
He-
capture your soul or
But-
whatever.
and
right?
like he totally could have hurt you using
Yeah. Yeah,
he
illusions
did.
and
Yeah.
telepathy and stuff
Sucks
like
my
that too,
soul
right?
out.
it's really good against minions. though,
Psychic
for
Yeah,
sure.
blast.
and
Just
these
like,
minions,
"Ooh, I
they
want my Uzi work."
once they realized that they couldn't attack you, they just started working on their objective, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, you don't get anything special for that.
Rats.
Let's see here. The broadcast did not enslave the city, so that's good for you. If you had failed to stop the broadcast, like if the minions had fully succeeded. succeeded, we would have added a new truth to the setting basics, which is the citizens of the city hate and fear all things magical, which would then come back into play later. But that didn't happen, so hooray.
Cool.
Yeah, and there you go. So
Nice.
So is this story part of the game that will come in the Kickstarter?
yeah, it comes in the box set. Yeah. So basically,
Nice.
like, what's going to happen is you'll notice that the sheets for your archetypes and the enemies and everything are about the size of an American comic book, right? So all these are going to be on a tear-off paper pad, right? And so what's going to happen is, like, at the start of every session, we're going to tear off the next scenario, tear off the enemies we would use, and basically fill these out. And we sort of play down through those pads, kind of like if you played Pandemic Legacy, how you play down through the deck of cards.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, right? And so each of the 4 campaigns is like that. And like sometimes it'll introduce new archetypes into the game. So, for example, in the Super Science pad, after you rescue the alien escape pod that crashes to the ground, it gives you the alien refugee archetype, which then someone makes the hero that was actually inside the escape pod and things like that. Right?
Nice.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a different cast of characters available for like different issues?
Yeah, absolutely. So
So we
you
wouldn't necessarily play these people.
You
Well,
could.
They would
You
go into
absolutely
they'd
could.
like go into the stable so that if next time if there was a group that was playing or like another part of the group that was playing like a way more 4-color like superhero thing and they wanted to be like, okay, but we need a character who's like a kind of a dark anti-hero to inject in, then someone could play
Yep.
Cardinal Dark in that.
Yeah,
So,
like
oh,
once
that's
you
so
create your
cool.
characters, they just sort of become part of the like cast of characters, right? And at that point, they can be played with for any future session, right? It's just that like the first time you start a series, there's a handful of archetypes that are themed to that series to kind of get you started on that foot, right?
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. Rad.
yeah. So that's
Cool.
pretty much it.
That's awesome. This was super fun.
full-
Now I want to go and watch the other like live plays that were set in the
Yeah.
same to see how we like messed with it.
Yeah, there
that's
there
super
was
cool.
there was not quite as much crossover as there could have been because we basically each group played the first issue of
Right.
each pad, right?
Yeah.
So, but one of the things that I was going to do if the voting had gone differently on the survey was use a villain that had escaped
That had shown
in the
Right.
Dice
Yeah,
Friends
cool.
episode. But the players chose a different, or the survey respondents chose a different one, so I didn't actually use that.
Yeah, I really.
but I totally could have.
I really like, and you can feel the ongoing like campaign kind of thing to it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I
Yeah,
also really love how like the paraphernalia, like the cards, changes up the characters without needing to be like if someone doesn't necessarily have a lot of experience with comic books and comic book characters, there's still like a lot to go on here to create a character that fits in well in the universe. But for people that do, it's also fun to be like, I want to draw or use abilities that I feel fit the idea I already have in my head, which is also really cool.
Yeah, and the powers and everything, and the powers and identities are, like I say, 50%, or not 50%, like 60% across all series, and then 40%
There's a collection that are special.
themed to this series,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, like for example, clergy is a identity that only appears when you're playing through this particular series.
Yeah. I also
like
like the sorcerer. You can get new powers.
Yeah.
At, like anytime, like if you have time to study and prepare, like
Right.
Yeah.
that's
just
Memorize new
re-roll.
spells.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of glossed over it a little
like
bit
that.
because we were in the narrative a bit, but basically what happened was after that first scene where you rescued the people at the park, basically the villain still has a plan and
Right.
that progresses behind the scenes as you do things.
Yeah.
So as each time you guys were,
So
talking
if
to the
we had
hostages,
chosen to like go home,
if you had gone
and
home, like it could have
research-
pushed things farther along. So
Right.
basically, when you guys intervened, Thascajar and his minions had just captured the TV station, right? But if it had taken you longer, if you'd gone home to do more research or whatever, then the broadcast would have been more in full, and then eventually, like, the broadcast actually inflates the city, and that final scene changes from, like, oh, stop things at the newsroom to deal with the chaos of a possessed city, basically, right?
Yeah.
So where you intervene changes things. And, like, if, for example, you had done your
Yeah.
shadow site very, very first thing and decided, like, all right, we've got this clue, let's just go after it, you actually could have gotten there at the point where they were still in the process of capturing the TV station, and so that would have, like, changed the nature of the obstacles and or the objectives and complications and stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, but I kind of glossed over that because we were just in the
Well,
in
it's
the moment.
the I mean
Yeah,
it's
no.
the difference between a one shot and then like a fuller campaign of a thing. But yeah, if anybody's interested in looking at a better like deeper look at the rules,
Yeah.
I just did a video about it. We sat down with the rules for an hour and dug through all of the little bits and pieces. So that'll be in the VODs of my channel, and you can watch it on YouTube as well. So Spectaculars is on Kickstarter until
Tuesday night at
Tuesday.
9, so we are not quite in the last 48 hours yet.
Oh, man.
We're in the
You've
last
been funded,
we're in the last
correct?
49 hours. Yep, funded
So now,
yesterday
what's the next
morning.
stretch goal?
I have no idea how far along we are right now.
What-
So,
what is it
so this morning we unlocked the digital creator pack, which is basically everyone who backs the Kickstarter also gets the high-res image files for every piece of art in the game, all my InDesign templates for everything, so they can basically make their own components and what have you if they want to make new powers or what have you.
Oh, rad.
Basically, literally everything that I use to make the game, they also get.
Right.
I did that for Dusk of the Outlaws
rad.
too, and so that one was unlocked this morning. The next one was 12 more initiative cards to make it so that you have more like color options and more things that you can put in the initiative deck, which will make it easier to like design your own scenarios. And then after that is 25 more identities. So basically
Cool.
more cards. Like every stretch goal is add more things to the box, right? Make
Sweet.
everybody's copy of the game better.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I liked the one that you put on Twitter that was this really cool plastic, like you
trays?
put all of the little things in.
Oh yeah.
Ah, it looks so good.
Yeah, Noah Adelman is he's the guy from Game Trays. He designed the trays for Dusk City Outlaws, and he put together this player tray that is just
It
out of
looks
this
real good.
world.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Cool.
You should check it out on the Kickstarter, even if you guys don't get there.
Yeah.
I would assume that would be like a special edition.
It
thing.
is the highest tier thing, but if we hit it at like I think it's at the 100,000 mark, but if we hit that, everybody gets 4 of them.
Nice.
So
That's pretty cool.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you got 48 hours, so
Yeah.
go and check it out if you're watching live on Twitch. The Spectaculars command in the chat will get you there. The link is on the URL is up there, I think, above me. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you missed any of it, it's going to be live in the VODs right away, and I'll get it up on YouTube as soon as possible, so you have a chance to get caught up before the end of the Kickstarter. And then after that, if people are watching this like weeks after Kickstarter is done, what's the best way to like keep track of the game or like pick it up after the fact?
So you can go to the Kickstarter. I'll eventually have a link to the pledge manager there where people can pre-order, and and you know I'll be posting the news in there. Also, just follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Antarian Ranger, which you can find me on Twitter by searching, and then also on ScratchpadPublishing.com you can see like news and updates on the game.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that'll be Rodney's shout out. I mean, you know who these two are, but I'll make them do the thing. Blue Jay, who are you? What are you doing here?
I don't know.
Who are you people?
I just walked into a house.
I just walked into some stranger's house and started playing a role-playing game. I'm Blue Jay. You can find me at twitch.tv/BlueJay or on Twitter at BlueJay_712. If you want to see more role-playing hijinks, you can find everything I've been in on BlueJay.tv/portfolio.
Cool. Warren.
I'm Random Tuesday across the internet. You can find me pretty much everywhere by that name. You can also catch me on my other RPG homes, Roll For It and Geek Space TV, or Fridays with this one's doing Dragon Hoist.
Sick.
Oh my gosh, I can hoist a dragon.
dragons.
One sec, I want to
Oh no,
hoist
she's
a
gonna
dragon.
hoist a dragon. Dragon hoisted.
Wow, you hoisted it. Congratulations. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks to Rodney for putting all this together. Big ups to the Invisible Man, Eric Benson, over in the corner running the stream. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
And I will be back for Court of Swords on a very special day tomorrow. It's Monday instead of Tuesday this week, probably because of Max. I'm going to blame Max, but I think it's JP's fault. But that'll be 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, which will be as soon as I get home from Seattle. So thanks for coming, everybody. This has been Spectaculars. It's also been spectacular. Thanks for watching.
Thank
See
you.
you later. Bye, y'all.